Hello and welcome to the Alopecia Advocate podcast, where we open up real conversations about hair loss, healing, and hope. I'm Stephanie Anderson. I'm the Alopecia Advocate, and I am your host. This space is for education, empowerment, and breaking the stigma surrounding alopecia and other forms of hair loss. Together, we will explore stories, science, and strategies that can help us all see beauty, strength, and confidence in a new light.
Mhm.
Today, I have a very, very special guest and dear friend who is also in the industry. Her name is Kimberly Nesmith. And we're going to dive into her journey, her insight, and the things that she has to share with you that drives her work and her support, and how she inspires others. But first, I want to give you a little background information because I know some, but her bio speaks to what she has done and what she's doing in this space. Kimberly Nesmith is a trichologist, a licensed cosmetologist, and CEO. A licensed stylist and hair care professional, Kim is a master of her craft and highly respected in the industry for her innovative hair weaving techniques. In addition to serving as a long-time consultant for the Beverly Johnson wig collection, Kim's creations have also appeared on Oprah guests and Def Jam Records, musical acts, just to name a few. Kim has captured the span of ideas and appearance for more than 30 plus years in motion pictures, print work, theatrical productions, and daily living. In April of 2011, Kim retired from the State Board of Cosmetology for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, concluding 6 years of service to cosmetology professionals, students, and clients statewide. And she continues to give back to her community in various organizations, including the American Cancer Society. In February of 2015, Kim completed the course on the science and the practice of trichology, which has allowed her to extend her hair loss services at Blue Sage. Her passion for helping clients cope with hair loss has grown over the years as she expanded her practice to include more innovative treatments and prosthetic options for her clients. So as you can tell from this extensive bio, that Kim is really a veteran and a game changer in this industry. So please help me welcome Kim Nesmith. Hi, Kim. How are you today? And thank you for joining us today on the podcast.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much for having me a part of your Alopecia Advocate program. I love what you're doing. Excuse me. I thank you so much for inviting me, and and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, I'm happy that when I extended the invitation, that you so graciously accepted, because understanding that September is Alopecia Awareness Month, there is so much to be shared and to kind of help to alleviate and dismantle some of the stigma attached to it. So we have a specific amount of time and a lot of information to cover. So you ready?
Yes, I am. I'm ready.
Awesome. So, Kim, I want to ask you a question when it comes to personal reflections surrounding alopecia. What does alopecia awareness mean to you, and how or has it impacted your personal or professional life?
Wow, that's a great question. So, alopecia awareness means to me it allows us to educate, to continue to educate people on the different types and causes of alopecia, and also to help remove the stigma, that's associated with alopecia and hair loss. People feel ashamed, and their dignity and their esteem is so attached to the loss of their hair that I think is so important for us to just give as much, as we can personally, um, and professionally. The what I do as a trichologist supports um, helping people professionally,
Yes.
and helping them improve their confidence and their self-esteem, and then having their families connected, having your family be aware of what's happening in your life.
Yes, it's definitely a game changer. And I know you've been in the beauty industry for many years in different hats that you've worn. And now that you are working specifically with helping those who are dealing with the appearance related struggles associated with alopecia, what changes do you see as far as the difference? When helping people with, no, we were in a specific area to where we helped and we styled hair. But how do you feel when you're supporting people who necessarily don't have hair and you have to get other options to help them? The difference in that.
So it really lifts up their esteem.
Yes.
It just makes people feel so much better knowing that they have options. There's so many options to choose from. And I think educating them, letting them know that their hair loss is not a health condition
Yes.
so much. It
Yes.
is really, the body just in different, there's so many different types of alopecia, of course, and the different types, we educate them, whatever type they have. A lot of my clients have poor hair care,
Yes.
and they just haven't taken care of their hair, and they think it's alopecia.
Yeah.
So educating them that a lot of them is not necessarily alopecia, it's poor care. If you've never gotten a trim, if you've never gone to the stylist or gotten a treatment or steam or moisture, add moisture, you don't do these things, you can break that hair. You,
Yes.
so I try to educate them about the hair that they have on their hair that's growing, and then try to help them understand what it takes to maintain not just topical hair, the whole body.
Whole body, yes. Because, like you said, it's not always internal, although we know that there are some that develop
Auto-
autoimmune deficiencies, but there's some mechanical reasons. Like you said, their hairstyles, there's, you know, not care their hair, there's trichotillomania where they actually pull. So, yeah, that is great information
I'm
that
a
you share.
trichotillomania. I call myself a trichotillomaniac. I
Okay.
talk about profession, how it affected me personally.
Mm,
I was stressed. I was stressed,
okay.
and I would pull my hair at
I
the end.
did not know that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Stephanie, it was when I first opened my business. I was all, going
Yeah.
through it, and my husband said, "What's going on with?" He would see the pile of hair, and I wouldn't even realize, because
Wow.
locks, and I had the I would just sit there and pull the ends off of it. So what I learned to do, and there are things you can do to help. What I learned to do was, and this wasn't necessarily the answer for everyone, but because I had locks, I added lock extensions in the areas where that hair was, where
Okay.
they pulled all the time.
Okay.
I would go to those pieces, and I would just use that piece to give me that satisfaction, because the trichotillomania part is, it satisfies something in you. It's soothing.
Yeah.
You want to kind of try to change that to something else if you can. I was able to stop doing it altogether because I eliminated that stress, the
Yes.
part that was causing me to do it in the first place.
One of the things, and I appreciate your transparency, Kim, because sometimes people are not willing to share. But I think that it is so beneficial when you share because as professionals, a lot of times yes, we have the knowledge and we have the experience, but when people understand that you're human too, and you can experience the same things, you're coming from a level with your trichotillomania. If you share that with someone, a different level than I am, that can only talk about what I've learned from working with other clients with trichotillomania or what I've learned in my studies. So you are going to provide so much impact to help with those. And yeah, it's a compulsive disorder.
Yep.
I deal with the emotional as well as you do. So helping people to pivot with different things, cognitive behavioral therapy and redirecting. So thank you so much for sharing that because a lot of people refuse to share that information. So I'm gonna ask you another question.
Sure.
So I would consider you as myself an advocate for people with alopecia. I call myself the alopecia advocate, but I know what you do well is an advocacy. So in your area of expertise, what do you believe are the most important steps to raise awareness about alopecia and support those affected by it?
Um, so education, I think, is going to be one of the most important steps, and like with seminars and workshops and different areas of social media, people telling their stories just like I just told mine. That is what's going to help, how I can feel like I can advocate, by sharing this information. And there's one thing that I want to mention before I get further into that answer,
Uh-huh.
um, is families. We need to talk. Our homes, I grew up with a grandmom that wore a wig all the time.
Mhm.
I was so curious. I didn't know what was going on with my grandmother hair.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
She just didn't want to wear her own hair. However, there are people who are growing up with grandparents who have alopecia.
Yeah.
They have pattern baldness that is in their DNA. And if
Yes.
you're not sharing that information with your family members, you
Yeah.
know, to let them know that you should probably never put relaxer on your scalp.
Yeah.
You do certain things that is going to accelerate the appearance of the alopecia that you have, as that's in your DNA.
Yes.
So it's so important, to just shed the light on, um and then creating policies. There need to be policies around, and having resources for people to get the information. We need more hair restoration clinics, and I'm sure they're going to be. They're going to be.
Yeah.
As soon as they realize the money that could be made off of people. Unfortunately, that's the way big companies look at things. They look at the dollars that's connected to it. And so many people are suffering from alopecia. It's not just African Americans from relaxers and braids and stuff like that. It's from too tight braids, I should say, because these braids don't cause hair loss. It's the braids that's too tight that,
Mhm.
and or how long you wear them. Different things that can
Cool.
increase their alopecia.
Yeah.
So sharing information, talking about it with family members and social media platforms. And what you're doing is perfect,
Thank you.
for shedding the light on alopecia and how, we need to educate more people about it. Young kids, I mean, there's so many little kids that suffer from it as well. And the bullying that takes place during that time, and the self-esteem that gets so crushed, and
Yes.
have to constantly lift the people up. And so I definitely, I hope I answered the question.
You did. You did. And you actually made a segue for another question that, well, not so much as a question, but to share on the importance of talking. Alopecia, we did say that there are some mechanical issues with the trichotillomania pulling or, lack of hair care that can cause hair loss. However, there are some things that hereditary, androgenetic alopecia is one of the most common that we see, and it's because it's gene related, right? So just like any diagnosis or thing that happens that's important for to document in a family, like if it's high blood pressure, whether it's diabetes, that it's important to know. I believe that when we have a conversation and start talking about it, it helps the next generation to be cognizant and aware. So yes, I agree with you that it really does need to be talked about. So actually, I think that even alleviates some of the stigma,
Yeah.
some of the, mystery about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
love that. We definitely need to. And when it comes to the babies, I'm seeing a lot of children who have it for different reasons. Not everybody is going through chemotherapy. There are some that lose their hair that is not chemotherapy induced. There are some different forms of alopecia. So when I see children who come to me and they're being bullied, I know that we have a lot to work to do as advocates and bringing awareness so people can change the methods and how they interact with people with alopecia.
Absolutely.
So that gets me to our third question of breaking the stigmas. You kind of alluded to it. How can society better support individuals? Um, and how do you think your role in your profession plays a part in changing the perception? So how can we change the perception about alopecia?
By creating spaces like you've created here, and workshops,
Yes.
areas that people can tell their personal stories, resources, having those resources, and also it always gets back to education.
Yes.
We can never have enough education, even in like community like workshops, like they have, a lot of times these community centers have events where they teaching people something, you
Yes.
know teach awareness about alopecia in some of these workshops. um and I also believe that, that Stephanie, we need more hair restoration centers.
Yes.
Want to need more. I mean, I talked about that a little bit earlier, and I think the industry leaders like yourself and I need to probably partner and create some of these facilities to, and this is, I know, a later conversation, but because it's so needed. It's
Mm.
a space that, I feel like the trichologist, we're that space between the dermatologist and the cosmetologist.
Yes.
We're that person that can help them, get to a better place, from the whole body, dealing with the whole body and finding out what type of alopecia they have.
First of all, that's the first to know what you're dealing with.
Yep, what we're dealing with. So that, as we do, and breaking that stigma, and like there's so many wonderful presenters today. There's a woman here in Philadelphia, a young news reporter.
Okay.
She is she's gone bald. She shaved her head
Okay.
and she removed the stigma,
Yeah.
that
Representation matters.
yes, and she's beautiful. She's absolutely, I mean, gorgeous
Yes.
with or without hair. And I see more women today, and
Yes.
I applaud them because
Yes.
you are not your hair,
Yes.
and we want to also break that stigma that we are so attached to this hair of ours.
That's so true. And talking about that, we do know that there's different levels of alopecia, and not everybody goes completely bald. And so there's going to be some women who are not going to be comfortable in being a bald baddie or expressing themselves without any type of covering. My concern is even for those who are wearing wigs or wearing other things for coverage, that there's a healing component, that they're okay with themselves
Yes,
with or without hair.
yes,
And for a whole nother topic, um not to feel like there's a competition, like one group is not representing alopecia better than the other one. Nobody wants to represent, so to speak, alopecia. And I've heard that there's been that kind of conflict where women, like, I don't understand how they can go uncovered, and people that are uncovered, how can they not you know express themselves. So regardless of what camp you're in, to be beautifully bald or to be beautifully coiffed hair with a wig or something, just be whole in your heart. So I agree with that when you come to that point of view.
yeah, Your self-esteem is so important.
It is.
Media plays a role in it, but you play a role. You have to love yourself. It's
Yeah.
about self-love.
Yeah.
And self-love, like you said, no matter what you're wearing,
Yeah.
you love yourself from the inside. And whatever you do on the outside, we all need to be an acceptance of that.
Exactly.
Not,
Exactly.
not judging people because your comfort level is different than mine. And and I get that.
Yeah.
So we should never go around judging people for what choices they make in their hair.
And not everybody wearing wigs has an issue. There's some people who like the convenience of coverage. I mean, I sell wigs, so I'm like, a lot of times my clients are not going to tell people that they're rocking a wig. So sometimes I have to wear stuff myself and I get a compliment. I'm like, thank you. This is a wig. I can sell you one just like it. Because a lot of people are not comfortable. Now, there's some who are. So let's just normalize life, being happy
Yeah.
regardless of what. But I appreciate your explanation about self-confidence and knowing that you're worthy and worth it regardless.
Can I say one thing
Yeah.
to that, Stephanie? My grandmother is a perfect example. She
Hmm.
full head of hair. My
Yeah.
mother full head of hair. All her siblings had full heads of hair, and they wore wig. My grandmother,
Rocking wigs.
she wore a wig to the very end. Even in her, she said, "Do not," and it had to be black. She she lived to be 102, and she said, "Baby, do not give me no salt and pepper wig. I want it black."
I
Not
love it.
that. Okay, and
That's
love
how she identified. And
she loved
it's,
wearing wigs. That was her thing,
yeah,
And it's cute.
it
I love
is.
it up too. I wear wigs often.
Yeah, I
You know,
love them. So we're gonna wrap up, but I really want to ask you, what about the future? What is your future vision? So, Kim, looking ahead,
hmm
what changes or advancements would you like to see in the conversation around alopecia that would benefit those currently affected by it? What would you like to see in the future?
I would like to see more hair and scalp centers
Okay.
or education spaces for just the hair and the scalp because I find it so daunting that so many women when they come they don't know how to care for their hair, and they may have transitioned from relaxed to natural or to
Mhm.
relaxed from natural, and they don't know what to do with the hair. So there needs to be education around it. I'm actually working on like a cartoon, an animated show that would help educate people about hair and the strands and the structure of strands,
I love it.
they and what it actually is.
Yeah.
Um, hair and you said seeing what else would I would see? Just mainly those centers that would support them because a lot of people don't want when they go to the hair salon they want to go get their hair done. They don't want to go for a treatment or a scalp. It takes up too much time.
Yeah.
I would like to see more facilities that supported just treatments for that hair and scalp, and you can blow dry it or go home wet, wavy, whatever you.
Yes.
But focus on healing
Education.
scalp and the hair and the education on the whole body, how the hair grows from the inside out. More information about that
I
is
love it.
important. I think that's what I would like to see in the future.
I love it. And I believe the work that you're going to do, you're going to make it happen. So we're running out of time. I tell you, when you start talking about our passion, it's so very easy too. So I would like for you to share some information or contact for any of the viewers or listeners of this podcast to be able to connect with you, Kim. Can you share that?
Sure. I'm located at 7598 Haverford Avenue. The name of my salon is Blue Sage Hair Wellness Salon. We're located in Philadelphia, PA 19147. I'm sorry, 19151 is the area zip code, and the number is 215-921-8157. The website is www.bluesagehairwellness.com.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I really appreciate this time, and what you're doing is so highly respected and needed, and we thank you. We thank you from the industry. If I can speak for the entire industry,
I
I
appreciate it. It's so heartfelt.
yeah.
I feel it's a ministry for me, but I want to thank you because you too are a heavy hitter in what it is that we do. And thank you for your time. And I'm looking forward to collaborating and doing some things and however I can assist you in your endeavors to help people in this space.
Yes, thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome. That's going to be all for this episode of the Alopecia Advocate podcast. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Bye.
Bye bye.